Hey guys, it's Brigitte with San Diego Seed Company, and here I am on top of a big pile of mulch, one of my favorite places to be. You know I love mulch. This mulch was delivered just in time for our fall garden, and this video is going to be all about prepping for your fall garden, what you need to know, and how you can be as successful as possible.
Compost, baby.
Okay, we don't just love mulch, we also love compost, obviously. But before I get into all those details, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so you're notified anytime we put out a video. Let's get into it. So I'm in my garden, we're talking about fall. Let's look at all the things that I'm doing right now to prep my garden for fall. Now, got the huge mulch pile. It's hotter than heck right now, and I know I gotta move all of this, but that's okay. You know me, I love mulch. Talk about mulch all the time. Mulch, mulch, mulch. It's one of my favorite things, mulch and compost. I'm gonna apply this in the garden, but not before I rip everything out, do some serious weeding, and just some cleaning up right now. And let's actually go see what that looks like. So, you can see I've still got, ooh, look at this, look at this. Oh, this is going on my sandwich. Check that out. So I still have tomatoes going, but they're really starting to putter. There's not a whole lot left on them. Do I leave these for a little bit longer? Do I pull them out? I'm gonna leave them just because I have so many other things going on. I'll let them keep producing for a little bit, but they're heading towards the end of their lifespan. You can see here that we've got tons of flowers that are blooming, but we also have a lot of weeds. The weeds have gotten out of control this spring. Between this garden and our Ramona farm, I've been stretched a little thin. Don't judge me. But you can see that things are just really out of control and just looking insane. Because of that, I want to start ripping things out, starting clean, harvesting everything that I can. Ooh, I've got some squash here too. The last little bit of this summer's squash. I've got stuff that is going to seed. All of this is our Ethiopian kale. We'll harvest all this seed. And then what we really need to do is start pulling out everything. You can see here, I've already started. Looks like a mess, I know. Again, I'm being very open and honest here, don't judge me. I gotta rip everything out because I gotta start with a clean slate, and because I really need to take advantage of clearing the palette so that I can get as many weeds out as possible before the cool season comes. So we're ripping everything out. I've found some really awesome little gopher tunnels, which is great. I can set some traps. I can clear everything. Throughout the season, I had to weed around all of our plants, which gets a little difficult. By clearing everything out, I can do a massive weeding project and really get things as clean and as neat as possible. What's gonna happen? I've done a lot of weeding. We'll level this all out. I'm gonna put compost down in my rows where I'm going to plant. I'm gonna mix that in by just double digging. We don't need to till anymore because we tilled in the beginning of the garden's journey. And for those of you who have followed us and seen those videos, you know how we did that. We've gotten to the point now where I don't need to do that massive invasive tilling. I can just use a shovel and double dig it in. So double digging is just a process where you're using a shovel and you're digging twice. You're digging a hole, mixing in the compost, digging it in, digging it in. Basically, you're just using a shovel to dig and mix in by hand instead of using something like a tiller. The other thing that I recommend this time of year is using a broad fork to actually go into the ground and crack open the soil so that you can let air and moisture in when you do water. During this time of year, soil can get really dry, it can get very compacted. And so by cracking open the soil with the broad fork, that can really make a big difference and allow the microbiology to thrive deep in the soil. So I'm gonna put compost down in my rows where I'm gonna plant. You can see that I've got them tied up, my irrigation tied up here just so I don't put holes in it. But I will put the compost down, put these guys down, and then create basically my planting area. All the areas in between will get a heavy, heavy layer of mulch. That's so I can keep the weeds down, conserve any moisture that does come free from the sky when it happens, and also lower my irrigation intervals because the water that does go into the soil doesn't evaporate as quickly. That's key, especially in our hot climate with the next months coming where we're gonna have some of the hottest temperatures of the year. So I'm gonna put down compost, I'm gonna put down mulch, I'm gonna pull out all the weeds I can, I'm gonna pull out all the plants that are done. You can see over here, cucumbers, done. I've had a great year of cucumbers. These need to get pulled out. I'm gonna toss them. I'm not actually gonna compost them because they had a lot of powdery mildew on them and I don't wanna put that in my compost. I'm gonna compost anything that looks healthy and happy with the exception of weeds. I don't put weeds in my compost because we already have enough weeds on the farm. I don't want 1 or 2 stragglers to make it through and they get back into the garden and proliferate so that I have more weeds to pull, because we don't spray anything and we manage all of our weeds naturally by using compost, mulch, and hand pulling. I want to do everything I can to try to stay on top of that. Once everything gets pulled and cleaned, that's going to take several weeks. While I'm doing that, I'm going to be starting all of my seeds. You will check out our other videos and see that I'm going to be succession planting all of our broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower to get that ready to plant out in the ground. So there'll be a 3 to 4 week period where the garden's going to look pretty terrible and things are going to be nice and calm, and I'm really going to let things sit and just chill, and that is a-okay. There's nothing wrong with having a period of time, especially during the fall, when you're letting your garden chill while you're doing other more important things. Weeding, adding compost, adding mulch, fixing irrigation is essential for the rest of your season to be successful. So you really want to put time and energy into doing that. That's super important. Okay, so let's just do like a mini little quick overview of what succession planting is. We have a whole video on it, but let's go check out and see how I'm succession starting my crops now. Okay, so now I'm over on the other side of my garden or my house in a much cooler area. I'm on the north side of my house under the shade of a beautiful jacaranda tree. And I'm gonna talk quickly about succession planting. So basically the idea, and I've actually got these marked here, is I'm gonna be starting my crops at different intervals so I always have them ready to plant out. I've got them ready to plant, I've got them ready to harvest, and I have replacement plants in the queue so when those plants are done, they get ripped out and I put new ones in. Don't worry, you don't have to remember any of this information because it's all in our calendar. It's listed right here, succession planting intervals. If you don't have the calendar, we got you covered. It's also in the back of the seed packs right there. Succession planting. The other thing that's really cool is we have a really awesome Excel sheet on our website that you can download for free, that you can put your information in, you can put your crops in, and it will actually auto-calculate for you what intervals you need to plant them at. So we've got you covered. We have everything you need to know. Now, I know that this is a lot of work. It is a hot time of year, and you saw that mulch pile. I've got to move that thing. It's like, I don't even know how many cubic yards, but if you are a serious gardener or farmer, you know that this is a labor of love, and we do it because we see the benefits of it, and we know that if we put the time in now, we will reap the benefits later. I encourage you to really take advantage of these next couple weeks of warm, hot fall weather, which I know is hard, to get infrastructure changes in your garden, improve the soil, take care of the weeds, fix any irrigation that you need so that when cool season fully arrives, you'll be totally ready to take that on, and you'll actually be a little bit ahead of the game instead of scrambling to get plants in as soon as we get our first rainstorm. You will thank me for it, I promise, and your garden will thrive because of the time you take now to reap the benefits later.